Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is Gazzetta. I'm standing in for Adam McCall this morning. I haven't got any newspapers with me. I went to go and get the newspapers, and they weren't there. Can you believe that? But first world problems. But we've got all the stories because most of them are online anyway. Well, they're all online. What am I on about? It's just nice to have the papers here sometimes, isn't it? And a big part of that is on the Athletic, which is only online. So we're going to get into all that stuff. So make sure, anyway, before all that, you are hitting like, share, and subscribe because we had a bit of breaking news, didn't we, last night? Coming out of Old Trafford, coming out of the Athletic, and then officially announced from Old Trafford the fact that we've appointed a new CEO, Omar Berrada. This broke in the Athletic around sort of 8:30, 9 o'clock last night. David Ornstein had it, and then the club officially announced it shortly afterwards. So I'll go to the Athletic first, and it says here, this is the piece by Ornstein. It's been updated because it's been made official, but it says Manchester United have pulled off a huge surprise by appointing Omar Berrada from Manchester City as their new chief executive. United have been looking for a CEO to succeed Richard Arnold, who left Old Trafford ahead of Ineos agreeing to buy a 25% stake in the club. The search has led them to move for Berrada, one of the key men behind the recent on and off-field success enjoyed by Manchester City. It goes on to say there, Berrada was identified and pursued by Ineos, but with his endorsement from the Glazers in what has ultimately materialised as a joint decision, it underlines the influence of Sir Jim Ratcliffe's firm, which is awaiting Premier League approval for the investment or for its investment to be officially confirmed. So the noises are this is a joint decision by Ineos and the Glazers, and it's been signed off by both of them. But obviously, it's Ineos, isn't it? Let's not kid ourselves. The Glazers didn't decide, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll get rid of Richard Arnold and we'll bring in Omar Berrada. It just coincides with the time that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's taking over as well, or taking this 25%. We were always going to do this. It's just a coincidence. Obviously, it's not, is it? It feels like this is Ineos who've gone, look, we need a new CEO. This guy's one of the best in class. Doesn't matter, is it City? Let's get him. And they've got him. City statement says Manchester City Football Club can confirm that Omar Berrada has resigned from his role as Chief Football Operations Officer at City Football Group. The club understands his decision to look for a new challenge, and he leaves with our thanks and best wishes. But the Athletic goes on to say Berrada is currently the Chief Football Operations Officer at City Football Group. Forgive me. Need a morning brew. Which ultimately owns City and a host of other clubs across the globe. He works closely with City Director of Football, Tiki Bergistan, on other areas, including transfers and contracts, and was involved in the high-profile signing of striker Erling Haaland in the summer of 2022. Just a bit more on his CV. It says here, Berrada had worked as Commercial Director for City Football Marketing before being promoted to Chief Operating Officer at City in 2016. He joined City from Barca in 2011, having worked there for 8 years as a senior media business development manager and head of sponsorship. So, makes sense. Also, it goes on to say Patrick Stewart has worked as United's interim CEO since the end of last year when Arnold left the role. Just on the club statement as well, we'll get into all this. And I want to make sure you get involved in the chat and the comments. Let us know what you think about this. The club officially announced it at 9:30 last night, saying Manchester United is pleased to announce the appointment of Omar Berrada as its new CEO. The club is determined, this is quite intriguing here, determined to put football and performance on the pitch back at the heart of everything we do. Omar's appointment represents the first step on this journey. Now, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because that's kind of having a little bit of a dig at the Glazers without having an overt dig at them. Because if you're going to use the term back at the heart of everything we do, that insinuates that it wasn't at the heart of everything we do. That football and performance on the pitch wasn't the most important thing. And you're saying we're going to make it the most important thing. That's always been the accusation leveled at the Glazers, and with good reason. Because, let's be honest, the performance on the pitch has always been secondary to the performance commercially under the Glazers. Now, under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, what we're hearing is that this is going to be different. We know he had a meeting with Must. We've heard the noises he's been making, and he wants to, we keep saying that he wants to make the club a community asset, and it's all about success on the pitch. That's the most important thing, and that leads to all the other stuff that obviously is what the Glazers are more interested in. Goes on to say here on the club statement, it is our stated ambition to re-establish Manchester United as a title-winning club. We are pleased that Omar will join us to help achieve that goal so that once again, United fans can see, in the words of Sir Matt Busby, the red flag flying high at the summit of English, European and world football. So it does feel like a sort of best-in-class appointment. Now, I don't mind the fact that he's come from City. Some people looking at it going, okay, he's come from Manchester City. Is this a bit of a worry if they've got these charges hanging over their heads? And a couple of people were pointing that out. I actually made a joke about it and said, is he going to, is he a grass? You may doubt that, you may question it, but that's the sort of pipeline. It would seem like a bit of a strange move to appoint someone who's facing a possible ban or whatever. I don't know what's going to happen to City and the people that were involved in Manchester City, but if there is some sort of punishment for those involved, and he was involved, then that would seem like a bit of a left field move to appoint him anyway. So there must be an air of confidence that he isn't facing any sort of repercussions of whatever happens to Manchester City. There's lots of ifs and buts and maybes. We don't even know a timescale for that, do we? We've been hearing maybe the end of next season, but it's not set in stone. So we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you think about this one. Are you excited? I'm cautiously optimistic. It seems like this is a good appointment. I've seen a few City fans tweeting like, okay, a bit surprised. He's been a part of our success. It's not like we've bought Erling Haaland off him. It's not like they're all devastated, but a few noises from the City lot saying, "Oh, this is a bit of a weird one. This, why has he done that?" Or United aren't playing games, sort of thing, which is good to see because far too often United have just put people who don't know anything about football, don't have any experience, in positions of power in Manchester United. Look at Ed Woodward. His background was investment banking. He knew nought about football, and it showed with what went on the pitch. Omar Berrada certainly has a pedigree there. He's had a lot of success at Manchester City. Has been involved in a lot of success at Manchester City. You look at their signings, they've all been pretty much to a man successful. Been one or two, Claudio Bravo or whatever, but they stand out. The ones that don't succeed stand out because you go, okay, you can almost name the ones at City that haven't stood out. United, you can name the ones on one hand that have worked. Our transfer policy compared to Manchester City has been shambolic. I'm not just saying this because this kid's coming in. I've been saying it for years. So there's that side to it as well. He's got that pedigree. He's got that experience. And also Ineos aren't going to come in my opinion, and just start appointing people without having done their due diligence and looked at who can we get in that would be the best for that role. So it makes a lot of sense to me. The noise I'm hearing from Ratcliffe and Ineos makes sense, and the appointment so far makes sense. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I was saying a year ago, we have to get Omar Berrada. If we get him, we're going to win everything. I wasn't. It just makes sense. So I'm cautiously optimistic is a term I always use with what's going on with Ineos. It does seem like they're doing the right thing. Just quickly, a couple of transfer stories I want to get through. United have been linked with 2 Dutch strikers. Shock, horror. This is in ESPN. I've seen it everywhere else. Ajax striker Brian Brobbey and Bologna star Joshua Zirkzee are both being considered by United, with the Premier League club looking to bring in some reinforcements in attack, according to Sky Sports Germany. Broby's having a good season. I think 12 goals in 25 games, 8 in 16 in the Eredivisie. And Zirkzee has got 8 in 16 in all comps in Italy. Zirkzee is 22, was at Anderlecht on loan, so he's not actually played for Ajax, but he's a Dutch lad. And Broby, obviously, you probably hear a little bit more about him. He is at Ajax. He's doing quite well. I've said this before, and I say it again. I just think we need to start looking elsewhere other than just the Dutch league all the time. It just seems like we only shop in Holland, and that worries me a little bit. There's nothing wrong with buying Dutch players. Jaap Stam and Van Nistelrooy are 2 of the best players I've ever seen. But it does feel like we only now try and get players who either played in the Dutch league, are Dutch, or have been at Ajax. And I think that's a little bit concerning, this narrow-mindedness we seem to have in an approach to transfers. But Erik ten Hag likes these players. Is Erik ten Hag going to be making all these decisions in the future moving forward? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it's 1 to keep an eye on, or 2 to keep an eye on. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to be outside Old Trafford tomorrow morning. Make sure you check out all the other videos that are up on the channel as well. But the big news is that Manchester United put off a little bit of a coup here, getting this guy from City, Omar Berrada, bringing him in as the new CEO. It seems like we're doing some joined up thinking for once. Not sure I'm used to it. Thanks for watching.